You're listening to The Metal Lens. Life, the universe, and everything from a metal point of view.
Okay, so here we are again. I'm Troy, and everybody knows Ramon. We have a special guest. We're doing things a little bit differently. We're trying to set up a video. That may be a bad idea. No one wants to see us. We have Mr. Joseph Calidoro with us today, who is a nautical engineer, professional race car driver, and also an author. His most recent book, Life Cycles of the Ordinary Garden Snail.
Some riveting stuff, really.
Yeah. Welcome, Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph, we're going to expect some comments on the recent news story about the fella in Australia who ate a garden slug on a dare about 8 years ago.
I've heard about this.
And just recently passed away. And
well, I don't think he died directly as a result of eating it. Like, he didn't eat it, then die.
No.
Apparently, he ate it, and it fucked him up, and he got some sort of really weird disease, was, like, in a chair for, like, 10 years. Like,
Right.
He was in a coma for a while, and then he got some crazy, like, what's the word? Not encephalitis. Something like that. Some sort of word like that. Some
sort of word like that?
Sort of word
Right,
like
You
that.
wrote a fucking book.
I know, Joe. So we're going to require a detailed explanation and some charts and graphs from you, Joe.
Meningitis. That's the word. Some sort of like spinal bifida meningitis. Some weird long-term name that I didn't understand. But apparently, they had a picture of him, and he looked like he ate about 40 slugs. And then he died.
Well, you would know, being the expert. And by the way, spina bifida and spanakopita, don't ever mistake those two. Two completely different things.
Is that a common mistake people make?
It's a common mistake that I make.
Okay.
So current events.
Well, first off, just to add on that whole thing with this slug, I think that that guy. Well, I feel for his family and whatnot, but if you live in Australia, I think that you probably should be smart enough to know not to eat anything, because everything on that island is trying to kill you.
Will kill you.
Yeah.
Everything in Australia
wants
can
to
kill you.
It wants you dead.
They're very rugged, tough people.
Yeah, they are. Not rugged and tough enough to eat snails, though.
To survive.
Which
slugs.
basically all Australians are, mostly, besides the Aboriginals, is the Aboriginals.
New band name, called it.
Is they're just Brits that can actually get a suntan.
And really, they're the worst Brits. Everybody in Australia is descendant from, like, scoundrels, basically, is the way I've heard it put.
To Prison Island.
Yeah.
So current events, the most current, I guess, worldly event, which Ramon knows this is not my fucking topic, is the midterm elections, and I don't really give a fuck.
I was
next.
hoping we wouldn't talk about politics. I'll leave the voting to the smart people.
Windhand put out a new album.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. They lost a guitar player, which was I kind of saw that coming, because they didn't really need two guitar players. But we went to a little show. Did we talk about this last time?
You might have.
Yeah.
What's the name of their album that they...
Eternal Return.
Okay.
I think I did. But anyway, it was fantastic.
All right.
We played our little giggy poo.
Yes. We were kind of leading up to that.
October 27th, we did it.
I like how you called it a giggy poo.
Yeah, a little giggy poo.
Probably
the fanny poos.
The only show we'll play this year.
Yeah, given it's November.
Yeah. I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah.
I can live with it.
It went fairly well.
And it was these two guys right here, Joe and Troy. A two-piece.
A two-piece.
Two-piece white.
Unless you include the fans, in which case you would call it a three-piece. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
That was terrible.
Yeah, no, that was actually a really good show, and I was impressed by y'all's set. Shit sounded really
Yeah,
good.
I was a little nervous about how the vocals would come
Dude,
out.
it
since
filled
it was untested.
the fucking space. Filled the whole fucking space. I told you this, man. It sounded really, really good.
I was more impressed, I think, with the Grooks.
The Grooks were fun.
The Grooks.
Yeah, I hadn't heard them. This is the first I heard anything from Joe or Dano. Or Don, for that matter.
And it was a long time since we've seen those guys.
Right. Yeah. No, that was a killer little thing. I
Yeah,
hope they
because I
do
think
that
it
more.
was kind of weird because like everybody knew what Mike was gonna do.
Yeah.
Everybody knew who Grisnon was.
Right.
Not maybe a lot of people haven't heard the Grooks, but it was Joe Dean, so you already had a pretty good idea what it was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had any idea what the fuck we were gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Or Fawns, for that
And
matter.
Fawns, right.
So I think that was kind of a good thing about it, is that it came out of left field. Nobody knew what the fuck we were gonna do.
Fawns I found mesmerizing, as kind of I would expect from.
What did you think about that guitar player I was telling you about? That guy Joe with the gorgeous pedal board from heaven. Beautiful, it's gorgeous pedals.
Yeah.
And he knows how to use them.
I mean that's the kind of like sort of like soundscape kind of shit that I kind of expect from like a band that Jason would be in.
Right.
Yeah, but just once again, this was the Sheds reunion, the Old Araby Sheds reunion show. That brought together a lot of members from various bands, from people who pretty much just grew up and kind of made their mark over there at the old Sheds in Old Araby.
The Shed Gods
Historical place.
would be pleased.
Yep. They smiled upon us that evening, my friend. So yeah, so cheers to that show. Cheers to y'all for performing well and for playing in that.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it again in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, is there more or less a plan to make this a fair, somewhat regular thing?
Annual event, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Burmasters, we had the Mosquito Fest, and that happened once a year, I believe, and there was, of course, Weenstock from way back in the day, which we tried to make a regular event.
Yeah. We did that, 3 times?
My liver barely remembers Bearmasters. God. Dark days.
Yeah.
Very dark days.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, congratulations, Kevin. He's already gotten married. They went and got married in Vegas. Him and Lori, but they're having
romantic.
They're having a thing, maybe probably like an Elvis impersonator officiated, but they're having like a sort of
Perfect.
I don't know, a reception, like a little party, a little recognition thing
Down
going
here.
on this weekend. Yeah, some bar in on Paris Road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Parish Road?
Yeah.
We mean oil?
No, I mean Earl.
I mean blood of the earth.
Black blood of the earth.
Yeah, so Halloween just passed. And the 5th just passed too. We looked at I make this an annual thing. I look at V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah.
I have dressed as that for a couple of Halloweens.
Did you really?
Yes. I have the mask and the thing.
We make it a
It's
November the 5th
Guy
tradition.
Fawkes, right?
Guy Fawkes. That's
Guy
Guy
Fawkes.
Fawkes Day. Remember the 5th of November and so
Guy
on.
fake.
I thought it was actually well timed. Not to bring it up artificially, but because of the election. Yeah, just because it reminded me of the presence or the risk of fascism and
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
Which is kind of what that stands for.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Domestic terrorism.
Domestic terrorism.
Hallucinogenics.
But didn't some founding fathers say that the tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of tyrants from time to time? I don't know exactly which one it said it, but I think that's what Guy Fawkes was kind of trying to do, sooner or later, people will rise up, and if they're sick of government long enough, and they'll hang some people, and they'll, shake up the system, and then they'll recreate a system, and then that system will work for a little while,
Yeah,
and then eventually
maybe,
that'll
but-
fail, and the people will rise up and kill the leaders. It seems to be a
maybe,
trend.
but it just the fucking the governments are just, even the shittiest and smallest of governments are too smart for that fucking shit. They plan for that shit. They know what's gonna happen. You couldn't do that here. You couldn't do that anywhere.
I mean, a lot of people have been saying for years. I mean, years in the United States that the opiate of the masses are being fed on a regular basis. But shit, they've been doing that shit since like the Roman times.
Well,
in order to keep people distracted from your occasional famine or your occasional, freeze or food shortage or overtaxation or whatever, just throw them some gladiators.
Well, like
and throwing some Christians into the ring.
The 60s are a little before our time, but, all the shit that was going on in the 60s, we was not coming out of that. The fucking country was coming apart at the fucking seams, and there was no way back. And here we are.
Humanity will continue to persevere, I believe, until a fucking comet wipes us out or something like that.
Until the great filter takes effect.
Speaking of great comets, Joseph,
Yeah.
Oumuamua. Have you heard of Oumuamua?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Isn't that what it is? Oumuamua or some shit?
It's some
It looks
Hawaiian-
like Oumuamua. How it's
I don't know how it's pronounced.
It's a fucking bullet-shaped fucking asteroid as big as a fucking football stadium that found its way into our solar system. And
Oh,
I
from
think is
it
out
was
now.
Interstellar, right? Or
Yeah,
I did.
It slingshotted around the sun, and immediately people started to say, "Well, aliens shot it at us."
Makes sense.
Well, of course it does, because that's the old science ignorance leads to. What is that? I don't know. Oh, it must have been an alien.
Because that's what aliens do. They shoot giant, meaningless piles of rock
And miss.
and miss.
They have the technology to fire a comet at us and miss, so either they're dumb,
Okay,
maybe it was a warning shot.
I got a question for y'all. Do you remember about 10 years ago when Keith, Sierra, and I know Jason was involved in a little bit. I think one of y'all might have been involved in a little bit. But we were just like going around. We had a video camera, and we were videotaping just random shit. Just strange, random stuff. Running around in some random places in the parish in our underwear or wearing like gorilla masks and shit like that. Do you remember us doing that? This was like in the early 2000s or something like that. So it was.
I've
actually a
seen
while
Keith in his underwear
back. Sure.
and naked.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but do you remember when we did this video thing?
No.
It was like one summer, and we just decided to just do this random project, just a bunch of silly nonsense. It really, I mean, there was no purpose other than like, let's just do something for our own amusement.
Okay.
Okay. If we had like, the same attitude and the same goal and objective and the same sort of like summertime dreary boredom, okay, but with a few 100,000 years of additional technology underneath our belt, we probably would have done something like launch a giant meaningless rock into our solar system and have it miss and not do anything. But we would be video recording it.
Yes.
So I guess the joke's on us, right?
It would be like alien
Yeah.
hillbillies. Here, hold my beer. Watch
Yeah.
this.
Exactly. Why should we jump off the roof?
So that's good. Aliens.
Onto the
Joseph, aliens.
Yeah. They're out there, right?
Well, they pretty much kind of have to be.
Well, I don't know
Really?
if they have to be. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
I don't think anyone wants to think we're it. I don't want to think that I'm it.
well, it's not. I don't want to look at it as a point of thinking or whatever. It's just the chance of probability.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost certain. Because I've been looking at certain things about just the universe, the known universe,
Right.
the universe that we can, the observable universe.
It's pretty big.
And basically, it's almost reached its limit to the fact of what we could observe. Because the rate of exponential expansion of the universe is faster than the speed of light, so we can't see it.
Right. We can't see what's past our horizon, just like you can't see what's past our own horizon here on Earth. It's the same principle with the universe.
So, to give you an example of how fucking big that is, it would be a gnat's ass in this room. Would be our universe. Not our solar system, but our universe. And there's that many more universes. 100,000 maybe.
Galaxy?
A galaxy.
Galaxy.
Yeah. Galaxies.
Yeah.
A gnat's ass in this room would be like our galaxy.
Well, I think there's in the Milky Way galaxy 100 million stars, or
Hold on, I just counted
well,
the other day.
yeah, it's
well-
a crazy number.
Yeah.
Well, there's at least, and I might even have this number wrong, there's at least 10,000 planets that we could see, that we know of.
Right, that we've actually verified that are there.
10,000 planets. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. Does that seem like a hard number to believe? 10,000 planets? We just lost one in our own solar system.
We lost
What,
one?
Pluto?
Pluto, it's not really.
Well, it
Now it's
declassified.
it's open
It
to
lose it.
debate
We
again.
still know it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We
it's
didn't
not,
displace it.
It's not it's planet anymore.
Classification of, how you define a planet.
So there's like 10,000 planets just that we know of.
Right. So the likelihood.
Just in our galaxy.
Yeah, in our backyard.
Our
Well, in our
solar system.
backyard, they've only discovered these 10,000. You're talking 100 million stars, and they're pretty sure now, from what I've read and researched, that every star has at least 3 to 4 planets. So take 100 million stars and multiply that times 3, minimum 3. So now you're talking 300 million planets possible, and probably more than that, because ours has what? We have 8 classified planets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of planets. That's a lot of possibility
That's
for
a
life.
lot of fucking planets.
The question isn't whether or not aliens exist. I don't have any doubts. Me personally, I think, there's definitely life had to form. Because, I mean, the most abundant matter or atoms or molecules in the galaxy, that's what we're made of. It's carbon. Hydrogen, helium. That type of stuff's it's the most abundant thing in the universe. So
We are stardust.
yeah, I don't question the fact that definitely life formed, but is it trying to contact us?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I
Thanks
mentioned.
Go ahead.
I mentioned the great filter idea,
Yeah.
which is, this is something that, like, whatever, studying exobiologists are trying to figure out is. We have a pretty decent estimate, as far as we can tell, about like how many planets and how many potentially life-sustaining. Dude, we haven't even, to put this in another perspective, we haven't only in the past 10, 20 years have we even discovered exoplanets, planets outside of our own solar system.
We don't even understand shit in our own dark matter. We don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, shit, dude. I don't even know how to fucking program my goddamn phone half the time.
Black holes.
Magnets, how do they work?
But we're talking about alien life
We're talking
here,
about alien life,
and whether
right.
or not aliens possibly shot an asteroid or comet at us,
Right.
or if they're doing anything. I mean,
mean-
what I think is funny is that
Well, what was that Star
up
Trek
until
thing?
what
was that Star
thing?
Trek thing?
Huh.
About there was a Star Trek episode. I was never fucking Trekkie, but something about the Star Trek mission
Yeah.
boldly go and observe
Yeah.
or whatever, and observe, even if not to interfere
Right.
in certain things, even if they look like they're inclined to doom.
Right.
And then were they talking about Earth? You know what I mean? So like aliens, like maybe they did, and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna leave them alone.
That's a possibility, of course.
Yeah. So the great filter, the whole idea is like trying to figure out like the possibilities of discovery of life, not even intelligent life on other planets, but just life, anything, whether it's a fucking algae, unicellular organism, whatever, right? So we're just like finding proof, verifiable proof of that. We haven't done
water,
it yet.
There must be life.
Much less that. Okay, so personally, I believe if life can arise, I'm not saying it doesn't, but if it can arise on another planet, it's eventually going to become intelligent life, just because that seems to be the way that it goes. That seems to be the direction that organic life seems to take. That it organizes itself more and more organized you get, the more complex it is, the more like signs of intelligence and self-awareness emerges.
It fashions their hair like so.
But are they coming here and abducting us and doing medical experiments?
But that's the question. That's the question, though. Are they going to, if they exist, would they come
I think
out this way?
more than ever now. All right, from 1946 or whenever Roswell happened. Okay,
right.
And
Early
even
40s.
prior to that, in antiquity and in ancient art, you can see there's paintings where they paint stuff in the sky, and like, well, what did they paint there? What could it have been? But really, go from Roswell till about 2004. Okay, there were all these UFO sightings, and people talking about UFOs, and these crappy videos you would see, and you're like, ooh, well, what could that be? Or maybe they didn't doctor it. But now, from 2005-06, since the invention of the iPhone and smartphones to today, everybody walks around with one of these.
Yes.
Everybody has a video camera at all times.
And you don't hear of it anymore,
within 5 seconds, I can be recording video.
Sure.
Where are all the new UFO videos? They're not there.
Right.
And that right there, it's just is it mass delusion? Is it us wanting to believe it's so bad that we're not alone, that we're willing to fabricate aliens, but then once we have the technology to maybe track that a little bit better, now we can't, but we still believe in it. We still think, there's got to be aliens out there.
I think it kind of goes back to like what I was saying, and it goes to science too, like with God. Is because you insert God in place of scientific ignorance,
right?
And and for a while there, like you kind of it was like kind of a fad.
Yeah.
You introduce aliens as in place of the unknown. Well, what the fuck was that in the sky? Fuck, I don't know. Well, it doesn't make any sense. It could be anything. Got it. Must be an alien.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Or an angel.
It's horseshit. Or
saying it's an angel or an alien or a UFO. Well, UFO just means unidentified flying craft. But an alien spaceship versus an angel, to me, if you were to come in here right now and say, I just saw an alien spaceship, it would have about as much weight to me as if you walked in here and said, I just saw an angel fly through the sky.
I gotta.
Well, it doesn't have any weight, and that's
show me the proof.
That's the Neil deGrasse thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any weight because in a court of law, it's eyewitness accounts.
Yeah.
In the world of science, eyewitness account doesn't mean fucking shit.
I like what Carl Sagan said.
It doesn't mean nothing.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. You want to make an extraordinary claim like I saw a flying spaceship and it took me to fucking outer space and stuck probes in my ass? Show me the proof.
And just simple
I
as
want to
that.
see the proof.
Well, I just discovered a new planet out there. It's blue with these orange. Like, oh, you really? Well, show me. Well, I lost track of it, but I'm going to name it after myself. No, you got to show me where it is. And
that's how science works, and they've been able to do that. They've been able to show us planets, and apparently these new telescopes.
But you can't make a claim unless you prove it.
Pretty soon, these new telescopes can now tell us the chemical makeup.
They started making. Did you see them things they started making?
Oh, dude, they're serious shit. They can tell us a lot about planets, but still, we're not to a point yet to where we can see. Where we can look in a telescope, look at a planet, and see cities.
Oh yeah, no.
We're not there yet. Now, we've only been really this technologically advanced with these abilities for, say, let's be liberal and say 50 years.
Yeah.
Imagine a civilization that got to where we were, but then had another 1,000 years, 2,000 years, where no comets came and civilization stayed sturdy enough to let scientific advancement get to a point to where you could develop a craft or a lens to look at a planet outside of your solar system
and see life on it.
Right.
That I think is probably the more likely route that we'll see. We'll be able to see other planets and see what's going on them. I don't think traveling to them is possible, only because of I don't want to try to sound all smart. Oh, Albert Einstein proved it, but really, the speed of light can't be broken, and the amount of time it'll take to get to the nearest star, it's not humanly possible.
Most scientists agree
possible.
that that's not going to happen. It's going to be automated. It's going to be robotic.
Yeah. Right.
Because
even if you could send a robot, you'll be dead by the time it gets. Oh, you'll be 80 years old.
But even if you can break the light barrier and you can say you can travel 10,000 light years instantaneously, too fucking risky, man.
Well, and if you did,
why would you risk a life if you could put a robot there?
Right.
You know?
And if you could travel past the speed of light, when you went back home, everybody you knew would be dead.
Yeah, totally.
Because time travel happens when you travel the speed of light.
See, you know what I would do?
Future time travel.
See, you know what I would do if I was an alien species.
You can travel into the past.
No, you can't travel into the past.
If I was an alien species.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right.
With tens of thousands of years of technology under my belt, what I would do, is I would go ahead and forget the robot. I would just send an information gathering probe.
Like an Imperial probe droid.
Just something that absorbs energy and does so in an innocuous way so as to not to grab too much attention. And it's going to grab attention, but it's not going to grab too much attention. Say like an elongated piece of rock about the size of a football field and just send it to the planet that I want to study. Have it look like it could be a probe, but not necessarily be an obvious probe. I think I know where.
I think Troy has. I know where you're going with this.
Right.
With the redneck alien, the jackass aliens, we got to call them. We think they sent the asteroid to us. But why, if you have that kind of technology, I mean, are you just searching for other civilizations like you, or are you just like an intergalactic peeping Tom? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we found this planet. Like, we found planets where like the possibility of this being like an Earth is very high. Let's send something out there and see if there's any life on it. But then what? What's after that? Let's say, because we found these super Earths, and they're pretty sure these are they're in the Goldilocks zone, very much like Earth, the size of Earth. Let's say we send something there, and we find out there's people there. Maybe they're in a Roman or a Greco-Roman type civilization, or maybe they're really more advanced than us, not advanced enough to have intergalactic travel. But let's just say we found life. What would we do? Would we try to contact them? Would we tell them where we were at? That's the type of shit that I roll around in my brain when I think about like this. Like, imagine the planet all of a sudden knew there's other life out there, there's other civilizations out there, there are other people out there. What kind of ramifications would it have on our planet, and what would we do about it?
Well, we would contact. We would absolutely contact. Think of the fucking assholes that are up there. We would contact them motherfuckers. Oh yeah.
Send them a Facebook friend request.
We would fucking try. We would try contact. Why else would we do it? You know what I mean?
I don't think we've ever gotten to that point. I think it's still in the. Is there life out there?
They know. They have a predetermined plan.
They're not sharing their contingency plan with us.
Of course not. Of course not. But they know. They know what they're gonna do if they find life.
Well, I think they still
blow it the fuck up. Mine their planet like they did fucking Avatar.
Well, why wouldn't it be any different from any other single technological advance we have ever come up with? We fucking weaponize it. We find a way to weaponize every fucking technological advance we've ever had.
But look what happens when, typically throughout human history, when we discover a new continent or a new island, typically the natives don't fare too well.
Why do you think this was laughed at? But why do you think, and it kind of hit the news for a second and it went out, but you remember Trump was talking about space police.
Okay. A space force.
Think about it.
I'm thinking about it. Still retarded.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trump's let's not move the focus towards him and his, because Reagan said the same shit. We need the Star Wars program, you know. I think it's what you were talking about earlier. It's the shucking and jiving. Let's take their attention away from what's really going on.
There's a reason for that. But anyway, I kind of want to dumb it down a little bit because I think, when people, I think the big hang up with a lot of this stuff is a lot of people don't realize timelines and they don't realize distance. and space, like, you say 14 million years. For a lot of people, that's just, okay, it's a long fucking time. Mm-hmm. But I don't think people really grasp at how fucking, like, what is it? Alpha Centauri is, 7 light years away? Or 7?
It's like 4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
Okay. 4.5 light years away. Okay, it's far away.
Yeah.
But nobody goes any further than that, and to really try and truly understand how far a fucking light year is.
If you drove your car there, it would take you like 18,000 years, and I might be off with the math, but it's a ridiculous amount of time.
It's a ridiculous amount of time, okay? Yeah. The speed of light is like 18,000 fucking miles per second or some shit like that. It's probably 1,800. It's a huge fucking number. Okay, so if you were traveling at the speed of light, it would take you 4.5 years to get there, which is something we cannot do.
No, we can't even get to 1%
and to grasp
of the
and to
speed of
grasp
light.
what that means in the speed of light, the best way I can describe it is the light from the sun, and we kind of, the sun's a far ways away, okay? It takes 8 seconds.
8 minutes.
8 minutes for the light from the sun to reach us.
So what that means, if the sun burned out, we wouldn't know for 8 minutes.
We wouldn't know for 8 fucking minutes. Just to try and put that in perspective for people of how fucking far shit really is.
Yeah.
And then that gives you a greater understanding of how huge the fucking known universe is. Okay, so if you would take like a pinhead, and then you would take maybe the size of I don't know, let's say the size of a dime, and then the size of a penny. The size of the dime would be Earth. The size of the penny would be the distance that we're able to transmit radio waves. That fucking golden record, we come in peace, fucking shit, okay? Yeah. Well, why haven't we contacted, aliens if they're out there? Why haven't they contacted us? Well, if you really take into grasp the huge vastness of how really big the fucking universe is, it's a fucking shot in the fucking dark.
Yeah.
It's a fucking huge shot in the fucking dark.
Yeah.
Even if we've only known about radio waves for 100 years, maybe a little 100 years, okay? And we've been around for how long? 4.5 million?
Modern humans, like 1 million years, maybe 2.
So in the last 2 million years, just in the last 100, we've known about radio waves.
Yeah.
So what would be the fucking chance that another civilization in another fucking solar system in another galaxy would be right where we are that they even knew? Now, 300 years ago, we could have been hit with radio waves from another fucking civilization, but we didn't know what the fuck radio waves were at that time.
Or what if the other civilizations don't use radio? What if they have some other form of technology they use to transmit data?
And I don't think people understand all those variables. That it's just that's not going to happen.
I think people understand it. They just don't really give a fuck about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Most people just want their air conditioning and their Wi-Fi and their Facebook and their McDonald's. Most people aren't worried about this type of shit. Me, I get off. I love it. I think it's fun to think about shit like this.
Yeah, maybe we should just play Fortnite and YouTube that.
Hey,
YouTube us playing Fortnite.
I just bought Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm definitely into video games. No doubt there, but I also like to think.
Well, the live stream of Joe playing whatever fucking game he just said is coming soon.
Now that's a new trend with the kids these days.
And it'll probably get more fucking views.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a big. I mean, the universe is fucking huge, and there's so many things out there that we don't fucking understand. And it's just the probability that there's aliens out there. It's pretty much lockdown for me.
Oh yeah.
Of course it is. How can there be that huge amount of shit out there and we're the only thing in it?
All right.
Come on.
I think we're all on the same page that we think there's other life out there. Bigger question I've always liked to entertain is what would be the ramifications if it was verified? How would the world take it? Would it fall into chaos? I mean, you got to think that most religious institutions would be completely turned upside down.
Yes.
Because they were all founded on this whole, God created the earth, and they're very much against the possibility of there being. I mean, just the whispers of there being, microorganisms on Mars. Has shook the ground a little bit of the possibility of life being somewhere else. Or the panspermia theories where maybe microorganisms from Mars wound up on Earth, and that's what seeded life on Earth.
To be fair, I think it's important to distinguish between like the foundations of religion and the foundations of people and their reliance on a particular faith. Because I mean, if you're going to look at, I don't think there's anything on in Catholic doctrine, for example, that dictates that the presence of aliens would undo anything. At least as far as like current understanding of dogma. Does it kind of shake apart the whole God created the earth in 7 days? Yeah, kinda. But I mean, so does fucking pretty much anything else nowadays.
Because
the Catholic Church has had a history of reforming their opinions as science
Bible,
kind
of the Torah, the Quran. I mean,
they just keep backing it up.
A lot of it is old. Well, yeah, but I mean, a lot of it is also fucking ancient and based on like this really, really cryptic understanding of the universe, because that was our view of what we understood to be the universe, which pretty much was just one small patch of desert at the time when all these books were originally written.
That doesn't shake anybody's because it was the Big Bang. It was the Big Bang. Okay, well, who created the Big Bang? Must have been God, right?
Well, I'm talking
about. So they keep backing it up. Well, hey, there's aliens out there. Well, who created the aliens? Must have been God, right? They just got to keep backing it up.
I know, but I'm talking about the difference between like a book and a belief. Those are two really big differences. And I think it's just like if we're going to have a discussion about that, that would distinguish those two, because there's going to be some Christians who are going to be like, okay, I'm fine with it, because I'm fairly progressive minded, but I still follow my interpretation of the spirit of the word of the gospel. And then they're going to have some Christians who are going to say, oh my gosh, Gladys, hoard all the corn because they're coming to get us, grab the shotgun. And they're going to see that as a threat, because fundamentally their belief system isn't really based on the books. It isn't even really based on the faith. It's I'm talking about a particular subpopulation of people, but their worldview is based on fear. And if people are going to respond to an alien presence, a real alien presence, it's going to be based on fear, because all of a sudden they're afraid for their lives, they're afraid for their families. It's going to be
interesting.
It's going to be goddamn interesting.
But will we live to see it?
Well, we probably won't, man. I mean, come on.
Let's get back on that. Say we do. Say in the next 10 years we do. I
would love it.
What do you think would fucking happen?
I think it would be, well, shit, dude. I mean, I brought this up before. You remember that movie and there's a TV show, Alien Nation? Or or District 9?
Oh, yeah.
You saw that shit?
Yeah.
That was a hell of a good couple of takes on what would happen if aliens, it wasn't domination, it was...
Although I think District 9 was kind of a cultural statement on immigration.
Well, they both were. I mean, both of those
very
ideas
much like
were.
They treated it like
illegal aliens.
I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was parabolic, and I mean it. I think the whole point of it though was to kind of make us kind of look at ourselves and then ask ourselves seriously. Dude, you can't even handle a couple of immigrants. How are you going to deal with the whole fucking alien race?
Right.
Well, as long as they don't take our jobs.
They took a year.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Dude, a big silver disc hovering over us.
As long as they get here.
Hey, Pasa, you have any work?
As long as they're willing to work and pay taxes, I'm fine with it.
Trabajo.
Hell, I'll drink a beer with them.
No, they come, they bring us intelligence, interstellar wisdom, technology beyond our wildest dreams and aspirations, and in return they want our jorbs. How perfect would that be? That's fear, man. I mean, it's the whole reason that people use the whole immigration argument is out of fear. Because honestly, it's not the immigrants who are fucking to blame with that shit. It's the people who hire them.
It'll be your first two major things with technology. You know, how do we fuck it? How do we kill it?
How do we bomb somebody?
And how do we use it to kill other people?
Well, that's what they did in District 9, man. This is a good movie, by the way. Have you seen that one?
Well, it's like with AI. They're making these fucking robots. Well, how do you fuck it? Can I fuck it?
Well, I mean, we're still human. I mean, we still want to kill each other and fuck each other.
This thing actually learns. I'm like, well, can I fuck it?
But wouldn't that be? I mean, that's another possibility. I mean, it can kind of give us an option outside of being human. You know what I mean? I mean, everything we've done so far has been based on like human thought because that's our frame of reference.
I want to be the first kid on my block to nail an alien.
Well, there you go.
That's a workable goal.
Well, you know, could you imagine the fucking what is it? The cosplay or what is that? They go to the conventions.
The furries and the cosplayers and stuff like that.
Would they just fucking would they explode or what?
Well, they already got them who dress like aliens in
That's
fiction.
what I'm saying.
So they might as well.
They would just.
I don't see it being really that different, to be honest.
They would be the ones on the rooftops. I'm ready.
No, but think about being introduced to an intelligent species that is so different from a human that you almost start to question your own humanity.
Well, would it be something similar to Third Encounters?
It could be. It could be just like, hey, these people are thinking. They're not even people, but I mean, this is a life form that's thinking in ways that we can't even really imagine. Dude, it might be almost like Cthulhu. It might delve us into the the fits of madness or whatever, or it might not. It might be really awe-inspiring. I'm just saying, like I'm imagining the possibilities about like what it would be to just kind of step outside of ourselves, because like I said, we're our own frame of reference. The only thing that we've gotten so far is glimpses into our own spirituality and divinity and shit like that. That's what we aspire to be, is something that's almost kind of divine inspired. Using our moral and ethical aspirations. But imagine having an alien species who's got like so much advancement, they just think completely differently from us. Not just like based on like it's a matter of survival and it's a matter of procreation of the species and a matter of like avoiding getting harmed and killed. But about next Tuesday, I'm going to go ahead and transdimensional warp right quick. And pick myself a loaf of 12-dimensional bread. Can you imagine what that would be like? What a mindfuck that would be.
I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I'm starting to realize we're kind of playing the ifs if we contact aliens, but haven't we done this to death? There was Aliens. There was that fucking shitty movie with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis.
Starman?
No, The Fly. Huh?
No.
Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum.
She was like
that's The Fly.
No, fucker. She was. It's like an '80s movie.
Jeff Bridges.
Goldblum. She was in like a bikini. This is when she actually looked good.
Earth Girls Are Easy.
Earth Girls Are Easy. Earth Girls Are Easy.
So we've contemplated all of these ifs before,
right?
Right. What was that fucking movie with Tom Cruise when they froze to death? What the fuck the name of that fucking turd was? It was a terrible movie.
Froze to death.
Yeah, the aliens came down, they were fucking shit up, and then like winter came and they froze to death.
Oh, that was War of the Worlds.
Movie over.
It was a remake,
It was
wasn't
fucking
it?
dumb as fuck.
They didn't freeze to death. They got sick.
Whatever.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
The cold.
It came out like 10 years ago.
The cold fucked them up. Whatever.
Well, the original one was disease, and I think the remake was cold or something like that. Whatever.
Cold. Not the cold.
Whatever.
And in Signs, it was water. It doesn't
contemplated.
matter. I get the point.
We've played all these scenarios out in movies.
Most of them are disastrous.
Yeah.
I think like one of y'all was saying that it comes down to fear.
Starman.
We're scared that people can come down here and fuck us up.
Right.
Take our jobs.
Right.
Take our women.
Exactly.
Take our natural resources.
Yep.
Now that movie, The Arrival.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all have seen that.
I remember that movie. I've seen that a number of times.
With your boy
Charlie
Hawkeye.
Sheen.
No, Hawkeye from the Avengers. Jeremy
Oh,
Renner.
no, that's Arrival.
Arrival.
The Arrival is a different movie,
Oh.
also including aliens.
Okay, and those aliens
Yeah.
came. Spoiler alert. To give us some technology because
Right.
they just felt like it. I don't really remember the exact premise of why, but yeah, the way they communicated was really
It was
weird.
totally different. It was
And
temporal.
That didn't, and
Yeah.
that was a cool way to present it. Like,
Mhm.
all right, what if we're visited by another species because they want to help, further along our species because we're kind of all living in the same galactic arena, and the preservation of life it doesn't matter. It's kind of like the borders of racism and nationality we have here. We're trying to break those down, right? We're trying to get it to where we're a one planet species, and we don't see color of skin. We don't see nationality. We see us as a collective that wants to, the propagation of the species, the
Yeah.
survival of the species at whatever cost necessary. Well, maybe on a galactic level, I think those movies kind of present a different angle to where, all right, what if, there are other species out there that are trying to help along the ones that maybe need a little push because maybe they got a push from another. Maybe it all kind of works together. But just the daunting size of the universe and the times it takes to get there, and that the fact that no one's really communicating. Well, we haven't figured out a way to communicate with each other yet, makes it seem like such an unobtainable, goal.
Oh, and then you have Star Wars. I'm surprised you didn't make this connection.
Well,
Of course, this would take probably about 10,000 years, but then, where we can travel intergalactically freely, and I could be easily doing this with a fucking Wookiee and a fucking Jar Jar Binks, and those are my buddies.
Don't look at me and call me Jar Jar.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
an insult.
I couldn't think of a fucking
It's just
Ewok. Or something.
Ewok. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take an Ewok over
Yeah,
Jar Jar.
anything over a Gungan.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
I didn't even know what the fuck it was, a Gungan. Okay.
Well,
But I mean, you know what I mean? Like they propagate together, and
Well, yeah, Arthur C. Clarke had the idea, and certainly Gene Roddenberry had the idea.
No, Bradbury.
Ray Bradbury, who did
What was that fucking book that we all were forced to read in school?
Ray Bradbury,
Maybe it wasn't Bradbury. The fucking thing about the Martians and shit.
the Martian Chronicles.
Yeah, Martian Chronicles, that one.
Asimov.
Yeah, whatever.
As-
I was close.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about science fiction, man. Yeah, I mean, they
So all of
speculate
these
on
all of
things.
these scenarios we're talking about have already been played out in science
They
fiction.
thought
novels.
about it, sure. I mean, all we can do is like synthesize. But I mean, with every technological find here on Earth, that adds another layer that we can use to kind of speculate on the possibilities. I mean, they figured that we were eventually going to find exoplanets that are similar to Earth, and you know what? Now we are. We're finding planets that are very Earth-like and are potential candidates
They
for
could be
sustaining
fucking
life.
retarded. They could
Not
like
far from-
look at our fucking iPhones and be like, "Holy shit, what the fuck is that?"
Oh, they could have the most brutal metal ever known to the galaxy. By the way, dude, I saw a fucking heavy metal band today on YouTube. Fuck, I can't remember the name of the band of what they call themselves. I swear to God, it's 3 robots, literally heavy metal. Okay, it's a drummer.
I have
Did
seen
you
that.
see that shit?
I did see
They
that,
played
yeah.
Ace of Spades, Motorhead,
Yes,
Ace of Spades.
yes.
Dude. It was fucking good. I mean, go figure, it was robots.
Right, it
But
was
I mean,
perfect.
They figured out these robots that articulated on the strings,
Yeah.
on the bass and the guitar, and then they had a drummer. And of course, the drummer, it had 4 arms.
right. Well, why wouldn't you?
But it did snare rolls, or not snare rolls, but just like, an Ace of Spades starts out with the snare. I did that on one hand. Because I guess I could.
Right.
But I mean, I had one hand on the snare, one over here.
Yeah, but I remember because
one arm, rather.
it didn't really have fingers. It was kind of affixed to the guitar, and it did the struck the strings, and it was like a grid for this hand that slid up and down.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And how cool would it also be, speaking of aliens and music, to discover another species on the same kind of level with us and hear their music?
Right.
Jeez, dude.
You never really see movies about
That's where the
that.
fuck Green Day come from. I was wondering, son of a bitch. Fucking garbage.
Oh, damn it. But you know, that fucks with me too, because what you get a new species, they could have a completely different sensitivity range. They could hear a completely different frequency range.
Right.
And say they could be listening.
We
hey,
might not
check
be able
this
to
out.
even hear their music.
And we don't even fucking hear it, right?
We just hear boo, and they're like, "This fucking jams," and we're like, "All I hear is a boo."
No, it's microtonal, man. It's microtonal.
Yeah, it's binaural beats.
You got to wait 10,000 years to hear the wave develop.
You won't experience it till you're dead.
Well, shit.
Would you like small bourbon?
I believe I would.
Would you like
After
some-
all, this is the metal.
Some ice in it to cool it down a little? It's pretty hot.
That would be nice. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've been kind of
Well, they're not going
Do
to.
we need to do ads? Or
we've been kind of milking at it. Where it's like, this is fantastic
Not
shit,
until
but I
we-
won't tell you what it is, but it's
Right.
delicious.
Joe, not until we get actual listeners.
Ah, yeah.
That's the key. That's kind of the point. Yes, yes, yes. Stereo. Joe with
That
his
is
coffee.
distinct sound of Starbucks iced coffee in a plastic cup.
Salud.
Quite delicious.
Refreshing.
Indeed. It's
So
a good
yeah,
topic,
alien
though,
metal.
right? Yeah.
Alien metal. Maybe we could introduce them to the metal,
You couldn't help to think that it would be kind of like industrial.
right?
Yeah. It's got that kind of like scientific, futuristic vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Maybe
kind of like
Close Encounters music.
did I ever let you listen to Author and Punisher? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my phone's recording right now.
yeah.
It's kind of strange. I showed Ramon.
Is it the guy with this one guy?
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
show it.
yeah,
to you.
yeah.
He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
like this fucking thing that he slams down with the triggers.
Yeah.
And he can do snare, kick drum, whatever.
Actually, it's kind of remember Ripley and Aliens?
Yeah.
When she's in the big loading
Yeah,
machine
yeah,
and she's
the-
kind of
The forklift thing. Yeah.
kind of like that. That could be the future of intergalactic industrial metal.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Oh, it kind of makes me think like, what's the future of like this sound? Because I know we've been listening to kind of like acts that kind of branch out from maybe some of the more traditional heavy speed thrash
Yeah.
death metal stuff that we've been listening to.
Mm.
Your doom and your
Right.
your rock influence stuff.
Doom is fucking killing me right now.
And all
Jesus.
that stuff. But I mean, if you have y'all listened to some of like the recent like some of the technical death metal stuff that's coming out, and some of just the straight up brutal sounding.
I've
Yeah.
kind of been following a band called Revocation for a while, and they're
Revocation? You mean all the Asian names haven't
well,
been taken yet?
the name of their band, look, I might have went a different way because it's kind of a typical one of those death metal band names because it has the Asian in it.
Right, right.
But it's just good. It's just thrash metal, and these guys are just talented. You just know they know what they're doing.
Gruesome is kind of like that. I found out about them a while back. It wouldn't be anything I would listen to now, but if we went back in time to the early 90s, we would listen to Gruesome.
Gruesome.
They have that typical death metal shit that
Well,
we were listening to in the 90s.
I think when it comes to genres,
Genres.
when you pick a certain genre and say, all right, this is the type of music we're gonna make, if you're gonna stay true to that genre, you kind of put yourself in a box, and you limit where you can go with it. Like this band Revocation, they're good. It's fast, technical thrash, death metal, heavy singing. No. I mean, it's not really growling, but it's a very aggressive singing style. Technical solos, really fast double bass. But there are 6, maybe 5 albums out, and the first one to the 5th one, it all is that same formula.
Yeah.
It's fast, it's technical, it's good, but there ain't no, unless these guys say, all right, we're gonna add another dimension, and that's why you see a lot of these bands, they do death metal, but they got the pretty singing. That's something that's happened to metal. Like, all right, we're gonna do metal, but we're also gonna put really good singing in it. Like we're gonna We're gonna sing and we're gonna scream. And that created that new genre of whatever it is. And either you like it or you don't. If you're a true metal fan, me personally, I like some of it because I like the beauty of music.
Yeah,
I like being moved, and sometimes I need to hear some good major chords.
And
I gotta hear some
well.
harmony, and I gotta kind of be uplifted. Sometimes I just want to listen to some pissed off metal, like some fucking Brutal Truth or some Whores. Just straight fucking rock. There ain't nothing pretty about it. It's got attitude and it's got energy.
In your face.
It's what I want, and I would think we're lucky in that because there's so much to choose from. Sure. And I'm glad I'm not one of those people. I know a lot of people our age, y'all, that they're listening to the same shit they were listening to 20 fucking years ago, and all they'll listen to is that. They don't branch out. See, me, I'm constantly on the search for new bands.
I am too.
New music.
I am
because
too. And
even if it's genre specific, if you're going to pick a genre, just do it well and do it new. Do something new.
Yeah, and I'm the same way, but I still listen to some of the old stuff that I listen to, but not too much. But I constantly look, man. I really do.
There's a lot out there.
And I'm big,
so many bands have access now to put shit out. It's so much easier.
I'm big into Doom. And I gotta tell you, it's really fucking killing me, because the vocals, you could run down a list. You could run down any kind of playlist of different bands at the Apple iTunes, or you could just run down Bandcamp, and you go to doom metal, and it's like you could take the singer from this band and they put him in this band, put him in that band, and they all sound the motherfucking same, and it drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's why with that type of stuff, I tend to pick one or two that I really like, and those are the ones I follow.
Right.
Because if you get too deep into any one genre, the bands are going to start sounding the same.
They sound the fucking same.
You can't get around that. I mean, there are some bands that, look, every album it's going to be a little different. They're going to sound like who they are. And I like Mastodon for this example. Each album's different. They sound like Mastodon, but each album's different and has...
Which for somebody like me that isn't really into Mastodon... There's like one or two albums I really like, and there's a couple of albums I really hate.
But and I think that's good, though. You want that because I like this band Revocation, but now I'm like, I want to hear them
like
do
Remission.
Something different.
Remission. I love that fucking album.
I want to hear something maybe a little slower or melodic or clean tone.
Band like that,
I know y'all
really
can
do it.
I know y'all can do fast thrash metal.
Yeah.
Let me hear you do, an acoustic set. I used to love those Unplugged albums from the 90s.
Oh, sure.
Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Those Unplugged albums were great because you got to hear another version of the song that was just
But don't you think there's something about a band like Alice in Chains or Nirvana or whoever that you can do that with, and some bands you can't. Like, I mean, imagine Cannibal Corpse Unplugged. You know what I mean? Imagine Cryptopsy Unplugged.
Well, no, but
it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm not saying, obviously they wouldn't put up, acoustic guitars, but imagine if Cannibal Corpse decided to take a keyboard, and get a little melodic, or throw in a little bit of like vocal harmony. It doesn't make sense with certain kinds of music.
Well, if you found a niche and you tour on that niche and that's your bread and butter, stick with it.
I guess so, but I haven't even heard this Revocation band that you're talking about.
And you
but
kind of
even
have to
still,
do that.
the way you're describing it, I can't see them, that kind of band doing that sort of thing.
I think this band might be the exception only because they have the musical knowledge. All three, it's a four-piece. They just picked up another guitarist. Mm-hmm. But these guys have the technical musical knowledge to do that type of stuff. Because there are parts in their songs where you're like, that's a classically trained guitarist. His scales, his solos are to the T based on traditional classical scales. And I love that about him, but I'd like to hear a mellow album from him.
Maybe so, but I mean, you know what? Who else is a classically trained guitarist? Randy Rhoads. And I could see Randy Rhoads and Ozzy, Randy Rhoads era Ozzy, toning down and doing more diverse.
Well, they did.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they did.
Then the band that you're describing. So I guess my point is just like Revocation, whatever. Forget the band. I'm just saying like certain styles of music when you're that extreme, like you kind of cross a line where you can't really, like Brutal Truth can come out with like a new thing. It's just simply not Brutal Truth. Amorphous could, but I don't think Amorphous could go out right now in this day and age and put out something more along the lines of like Brutal Truth or whatever. Like they couldn't put out like a grind metal album.
No,
even though they've done
what they've morphed into
almost a grind metal album in the past.
Yeah.
They still had just some quality about them that gave them just the right amount of leeway to be able to branch out and noodle around with that kind of stuff.
All right.
And I can't even define exactly what properties about
okay.
your sound that it requires.
I know where we at, and I've struggled with this myself, forming bands and wanting to take bands in certain directions.
Yeah.
And it's a battle that we all have to do. And I used to think, hey, whatever the fuck I feel like doing, let's fucking do it.
Right.
But in most cases, you really got to pick your thing and stick with it.
Yeah.
And Black Cobra is a good example. Fuck, they've been doing the same thing that they've always fucking done. And if you can find something and you can do it well, you have to keep doing that. There are of course, there's always certain bands, that there are certain exceptions, but you always run that risk. And I think a lot of times when you get into bigger bands that have producers that go into the studio, and they're on record labels and stuff, they're probably guided not to do so. This is what the fuck you do.
Well, they're
and
business.
This is what you exactly.
These bigger bands are business.
Exactly.
Metallica is a business.
So you can't just if you're still in a garage and you just kind of you have that freedom to do that. But once you get on a label, you have to do what you do, and if you do that well, and you'll be successful. You can't because they know they've calculated all that risk. If they I think the only ones that were really successful about it, and I was never really a big Melvins fan, but, of course the Melvins did it and were successful with it. But a lot of bands are just not. People's going to love this shit or they're going to fucking hate this shit. And if you're rolling in a certain direction and it's starting to go, you're going to go that way.
That's a great example because Melvins is the kind of band that could have done almost anything within a certain umbrella, and it would have been perfectly passable as the Melvins, And I think you're onto something, and I'm not.
But that was the Melvins.
Well, that was the Melvins, I guess. That was kind of almost like their defining characteristic. But the thing is, like, I'm thinking of, not to beat a dead horse, but there is some kind of undefined vibe. Okay, so take for example, you and you're 17 and the rest of your 17-year-old friends getting together in a garage, all right, and then you plunk out a couple like fucking Metallica covers and maybe a Nirvana cover, and then like a couple Slayer covers, and then maybe a couple originals, and you're just fucking around and you're exploring, but there's no cohesion going on, right? It all sounds like okay in the context of just you're being a teenage garage band, and you kind of haven't really developed probably at that point like a real strong sense of like musical cohesion. But once you pass a point, you kind of realize that and you're putting out original music, of course. You've developed some characteristic that kind of defines your sound, and I don't know exactly what it is, but once that sound is defined, there's also a set of limitations that are also kind of defined within that, all right? Yeah. Like as diverse as a band as, even though it's heavy music, as Amorphous or Melvins or Yob, for example, might be Yob kind of fucks around and puts a bunch of
Yob was rolling around
Mastodon.
my head too.
Mastodon has a bunch of kind of different things that they put into their music, but they still kind of have a unification. But once you deviate from that, you kind of know. And then you start calling that band as a sellout, or you start saying that something's changed.
Well, you're making music for yourself.
They're not quite the same.
You're making
band.
music for other people.
But
if you're
making
making
music
music for
without
other
necessarily
people,
knowing how.
If you're making music for other people, you're in it for the wrong reason.
That might be your motivation, but still you can tell.
If you want to do this, you can't risk the chance of being a jack of all trades, master of none. With what we're doing, I've thought about maybe going in a certain different direction. Like, man, I got this fuzz tone and I got this tone, and that's kind of the defining tone because it is the only tone besides fucking you beating on foreskins over there.
Right.
So I'm like, well, maybe if I put another distortion pedal here and I have a different distortion. And then I'm thinking, like, if I just go to a different distortion, it would just fucking... No. Fuck no. It's my clean sound and my fucking... And my clean sound is with my fucking Pog. And that's a clean sound with my Pog and my fucking distortion, my fuzz. And that's what I've got that sound to where I really fucking like it, and I've got to go with that, and I'm going with that.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, I'm like, if I had 2 or 3 different distortion tones, I'm like, oh, fuck no. I don't even want to think about that.
That is kind of weird, because, I mean, even, like, certain genres lend themselves to kind of fucking around with different tones, and certain genres don't, you know? I mean, that's part of it, you know, tone and timbre and sound quality. Even if it's like, you know, different from album to album, there's still.
Well, think about it. Think about it when we go to these fucking shows. When we go to these shows, okay, and fucking Black Cobra's playing, woo, and then they got these other fucking bands. It's like, okay, we're not all that familiar with all these other bands, but these 3 other bands played before Black Cobra, and they all, the distortion and everything, it all kind of sounds the same. You know, from band to band. And then Black Cobra comes on, it's like, well, fuck, that's Black Cobra.
Right.
You fucking know that as soon as you fucking hear it. When Monolord played, they had some opening bands, and they're, you know, they all kind of sounded the same. It's like, were they using the same rigs? What the fuck? And then Monolord comes on, it's like, Jesus Christ, it sounds just like the fucking CD. Fuck that, I could close my eyes, I knew that was fucking, I didn't even know the song, or, you know, I just hear the sound.
Right.
That's fucking Monolord. You fucking know it. And what's the difference there? Those fucking guys, they mastered what they fucking do, and that's all they do. It's not a jack of all trades master. No, they're not fooling around. They already fooled around. They got what they fucking got, and that's it.
No, well, I think certain bands like that, they're kind of minimalists in the way that they do things.
If the bass player changed his fucking tone, it would not be Monolord anymore. It would be some other fucking band.
Well, I think
that's how distinctive it is.
I think in that kind of minimalist framework, it gives you some space to be a little bit more defining in terms of things like tone and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like if you listen to like a lot of the classic shit that we listen to, like, you know, tone varied a lot from album to album.
Yeah.
A great deal. Like production quality and shit like that.
Well, yeah.
You know, but I mean, like certain bands, like if you're going to slow down, put it to you this way, if you're going to slow down and let a note ring out for a long period of time, dude, that tone makes a big difference. As opposed to like if you're just, you know, playing really fast.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I think having that space makes a big difference.
I think I can pick Cannibal Corpse guitars out in a blind taste test.
Give it. I mean, you know,
because they had a pretty distinctive sound.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Like, you know,
but like you said, when you slow down, because I mean, Jesus, fucking Stevie Ray's guitars. That was Stevie Ray's fucking guitar sound. Mm-hmm. Anybody could fucking close their eyes and pick that out. Mm-hmm. Even if he was playing something they've never heard before. Mm-hmm. Like, that fucking sounds like Stevie Ray.
All right.
You can hear that was his tone. Dude. And he fucking, people have duplicated that tone based off of him. You know, and certain guitar players, they got that sound, and they, you know, if he came up with a fucking, if he dropped a Strat and came up with a Les Paul, people would be like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah. But that varies from artist to artist, band to band, whatever, act to act. Because I mean, like not all. I'm not saying all bands are like that though, but I mean, a lot of bands kind of are. Yeah. You know, I mean, perhaps like you were saying, like if was it Monolord? You know, they put out their sound. I mean, they put some time and effort to creating that sound. And they decided, you know what, that sound is important enough that we're going to make that a defining characteristic to our overall sound. Like that guitar tone or that bass tone.
And that's how I feel with what me and Joe are doing.
All right.
I got that tone that I play with, and that's our tone.
Well, dude, I mean, you kind of have to. Because, I mean, if you guys did that, did one song like the way you did, and then the next song is just you playing through like through a big muff or something like that. You know, that's that's going to change things. I'm not saying that now you're a different band and you're being untrue to yourself. I'm just saying you changed the definition of what that act is. Okay, so now you have to take a step back, look at both songs, and say, okay, now that changes my understanding of this band based on both of these two sounds put together in conjunction with one another, and that's part of like how we kind of perceive that.
Well, and that's my deal. I'm big into tone. I've been Jesus Christ. I'm still chasing. I'm really. I've even had a little bit of thought. I'm pretty happy with my tone right now, and I've had a little thought to kind of tweak it a little bit. But I've been chasing tone ever since I've been playing.
And then some people just turn everything up to 10.
And you fuck with
and
it.
wail.
Yeah, and well, that was the Van Halen thing. He just took them stacks and dimed everything. Let's see what you got. But that's of course back when. Equipment was relatively primitive, put it that way. Motherfuckers are beating their fucking DS1s. Give me more. Give me more.
I guess so, man.
It's a great time, in my opinion, to be a music fan. And a really tough time if you're a new band.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's literally probably the most oversaturation of the marketplace with new music. And the competition level, I mean, anybody can release an album now. Anybody can release and put it on Bandcamp, YouTube, and there's just so much to choose from that it's, how do you find what you like? And I think, knowing what you like is a big part of it.
It's difficult.
But,
because that's what we were just talking about. I'm constantly searching for something that I like, and I'm finding it pretty difficult.
I don't typically have problems finding new shit I like.
I do. I guess I'm a bit picky.
I have to give Apple Music props because it recommends shit, and I can find myself going down holes from the suggestion links.
Really?
Where you see, like this, maybe you'll like this.
I've been rather disappointed with Apple's suggestions for me.
I got a side on the picky camp because I'm pretty damn picky.
Yeah, I'm very picky.
I'll give anything a chance. I'll give it a few songs.
I don't do that because that's how picky I am. It's like because I'm like. Oh fuck no! You're not opening. You opening. I'll listen to the first song. It's like you're gonna open with that. Oh fuck no, dude! And I can hear that riff, and I'm like, I know what this is gonna be.
Is it
and
possible,
then I'll scoot over to the lyrics, and I'll hear the first line out the fucking vocals. I'm like,
But is it possible through having an open mind to discover a new genre or a new band that you might not have liked a year ago, but now something's changed within you that makes you like it? Like, I find myself liking shit today that I never would have liked 5 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm really big into
the
noise.
Apple playlists don't change that often.
Like bands like the Earth shit, that Boris stuff, Earth 2 specifically.
Yeah.
Just like, I never liked just noise.
Right.
But now I like listening to it.
That shit's incredible.
Just like...
Did you hear that?
Nuh-uh.
Earth 2? Oh,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's calming.
Check that shit out.
Yeah. So I always try to keep an open mind when it comes to discovering new music that maybe I'll like this today. And that's why I'll give it more of a chance. In the past it was first 30 seconds, nope.
No.
But now it's like, let me give a couple songs a try, and I'll listen to 2 or 3 songs, and I'll be like, then I'll make an informed decision.
But because I was going through a few, like Candlemass. I really like their guitar riffs, and I like their tone, and the singers, I don't, So I've actually downloaded Candlemass, and I'm like, I'm gonna give this a try. UFO Mammoth. I downloaded their album because I'm like, this. I kind of dig this, and I tried it, and I tried it for a while. I can't do it.
Oh, I'm not saying that.
So I will do that.
There will be times when I'm like, no.
But in the first 30 seconds, I'll know if I'm gonna give them a chance or not.
Right.
Wow.
And certain like UFO moment, I said, yeah, let me check that out. I'll download that and I'll listen to that for a little while, and that kicked it.
Well, not too long ago, I went ahead and went back and listened to Saint Vitus again. Still sucks.
Still sucks.
It still sucks. Yeah.
Hey Joe, I gotta ask, do you like Rock and Morton yet?
You know, I don't even know what that was.
I
I don't know who the artist was.
It was Nurse with Wound.
Nurse
man.
with Wound. Yeah, I don't think I would like that today. Still,
Wow.
just because I'm traumatized from
A little more.
It's an acquired taste.
from some of that.
Speaking of acquired taste, yes.
But
please.
you know, Boris with Sono is an acquired taste. That's very noisy and doesn't make a lot of sense.
Dude.
But I tend to try to
Thank you.
move
If you-
towards
if you-
shit that kind of fits my mood.
If you check out Earth 2, I highly recommend. What is it? The ultra low, the ultra low version.
It's it's an hour long, and it's just an hour long of tone, just tonal noise. But
You
it
know
can
what-
put you in sort of a meditative state.
Speaking of which, speaking of minimalism, actually, this dude Phil Niblock. Ever heard of that guy?
Niblock
Niblock.
sounds like an alien species.
Dude, he's like in his 80s. He's
Meet
been
the
doing this
Niblocks.
shit since like the 60s and stuff.
Uncle Ramon and the Niblocks.
Phil Niblock. He does. He's this old dude, and what he does, he just gets like various musicians to like record string instruments with like an ebow or just different things where they can get like long sustained tones. And then what he does is it's microtonal stuff. He messes with pitches so that they're I guess technically out of tune, right? And then figures out ways so that they're orchestrated so that you'll play these tones, and then because of how like when you're tuning a guitar and it's way out of tune and it's brrr, and then the more in tune you get, it goes so that the wavelength slows down. The difference between the two tones creates these pulses that become longer and longer in length, or more and more spaced out. So he messes with that, and he plays these. He has these like recordings that are like dozens of tracks of these things layered on top of one another, and then he plays it back, and you listen to it, and it's just these droning tones where you hear these things play, and it takes a long time for these things to kind of oscillate and then recycle, and then and you get weird shit as an effect of that stuff. Phil Niblock is just
Phil
Niblock. He's just like this dorky dude with a beard and glasses, who like records this stuff. I mean, he gets like the oddball musicians, like the dudes from like Sonic Youth and stuff, who have like recorded with him. But
I don't think I've ever shared this. I think I have, but nobody probably ever
Is
remembers.
it secret time?
No.
Are we going to talk about our feelings now?
Well, this is a safe place,
Okay.
there you
and
go.
it can double as a crying room.
Okay. Safe environment.
Yeah.
All right.
I was into I was into music, so I had to be 15, 16, maybe.
The happy years.
Yeah. Well, I was at my grandmother's house, and she watched this talk show. It was a country music-oriented talk show. I believe it was called Brook and Chase.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Regis and whatever. It's one of those little talk shows, and they have musical guests on.
Right.
Well, she would always watch this shit, and whatever. And this one particular time, they had a musical guest. He was just one guy, and he was a banjo player, and he had absolutely zero left-hand technique. It was all right-hand plucking, and his left-hand technique was tuning the tuners.
Gotcha.
So he would strike a note, down, 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 and he would do that all with the tuning keys,
Okay.
and did not fret a single
So
note.
no
And
fretting.
no fretting.
You would just
He would manipulate the
Tune
tuners to change pitch,
gotcha.
and that had to be 89, 92, up in that era.
You got schooled that day, didn't you, Troy?
It really fucking impressed me.
Yeah,
I will
yeah,
tell you
yeah.
that it really did.
I've
And
done the same.
and it was quite a few years later, but I did try and look up Brooke and Chase. I could probably find it now, and try and find that episode of Brooke and Chase. I'm almost positive that's what it was called. It came on the CMT channel, Country Music Channel.
In the 80s, I don't know if that existed.
I think it did. I was there.
Well, that was an interesting story. I mean,
Well-
maybe if you could tell us who it was.
Well, I don't know,
Well,
but bringing up the the low tune,
Yeah.
that's what made me.
that takes a certain level of skill.
There was a segue there, I swear.
You were trying to take us somewhere, weren't you? I'm not
I
finding.
didn't just pull that out of my ass.
I think it's probably not Brooke and Chase because I'm not finding anything.
It was Brooke and Chase.
Very well.
What does that internet know? They don't know nothing.
All right. This uncomfortable pause will be edited out, by the way,
90s.
Oh, you can do that?
90s
And-
talk show.
and replaced with live nude girls.
90s country talk show.
You know, really, there should be some opening music. If you want to do a
There is.
podcast, right, you
There
should
is.
have a little section of opening music.
There's
You haven't heard the final mix yet, Joe.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
This is just the raw recording.
Hey,
These are
hey.
raw tracks, Joe.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
You're just a fucking guest.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I would maybe have a little creative input in this, but okay, that's fine. It's like always, Troy and Ramon running the show.
Well, can you
Joe,
make
you-
it every Friday?
just like
Can you
back
make
in
it
the
down
day.
here every other Friday?
Dude, no, I'm
Well, okay then.
pussy whipped.
Nah, dude, your creative input is absolutely welcome, and
Good,
it will
'cause
be
this-
ignored in due.
This thing will die without my fucking input.
much
Not really.
appreciated.
I'm
Hey, and you know what?
embellishing
I've
my
look,
abilities.
dude. There's no shame in being fucking pussy whipped. There's a lot fucking worse of things to be than fucking pussy whipped. Because
Pussy whip's the wrong term because that makes it.
Because
it
pussy
sound
is a fucking amazing thing.
Yeah, like I'm not appreciative of all that she does.
There you go.
How about
That'll
this? You
work.
got 3 kids.
I have 3 kids.
That's kind of an
I
important
live kind of
obligation.
far away. But you know, there's Skype. We could maybe do a Skype session. But
Ooh.
In the rare occasion she might hear this, love you, honey.
yeah, love you, honey. You're great. I appreciate all you do. But no,
That's an interesting idea. A phone-in guest.
Yeah, but if it's me,
Crook and Chase.
I don't
Crook
really.
and Chase?
I wouldn't really think of myself as a phone-in guest. Maybe just a recurring co-host. You know, but I know this is my first time here, so I don't want to step on the toes of you podcasting giants here.
No, we wanted you
You're
here.
not gonna step.
That's
on
why
our
we
toes,
rearranged our schedule just for you.
Joe. That's right.
I know y'all got a lot going on, so I appreciate that.
No problem. No, this is actually good to have one of these. I don't know, old-time, well-appreciated, traditional conversations.
Yeah.
Well, that's I think that's
Between-
something that's just
among the
missing
3 of
in
us.
today's society. And other podcasts I listen to, you know, talk about that and mention that. And
Well, yeah.
not to name drop any of them, and I won't. But the art of what we're doing is lost through
It is.
technology and through people just being on in such a hurry, and people, you know, I mean, they got their families, they're very much consumed with their own lives. You know, there's not a lot of time these days to just sit down with people and have a long conversation. You know, I've been wanting to have a dinner party at my house and invite some select few people over to sit down and have a meal and just talk. No phones, and just have a discussion about whatever, and it not just be, you know.
Would I be one of these fortunate select?
Yeah, y'all both.
No,
of
he's
y'all,
going to tell you about it, but he's not
I'm
going to
tell
invite
you.
you.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fucked up. No, I think that you know, I think it's easy for any of us to get
It would be everyone except you.
to get consumed in our lives and not really take any time out of our schedules to appreciate just the art of talking and conversating.
And that's why we were kind of doing this. Just let's have a good conversation. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that's lost. I mean, look, at my age and, you know, all of our ages, it's a grind. For me, it's a grind every day. I look forward to the little breaks I get to do just normal shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure, and when you're out and about, you know, in the world, you realize how fucking ignorant a lot of people are.
Well, I'm pretty ignorant myself, and I really I can't be consumed with other people's ignorance and what they're doing. I just know what I have to be doing. And what I have to be doing is just stimulating this thing between my ears. Because I don't like being stale. I mean, dude, my day is I'm pretty predictable from the moment I wake up till I go to bed at night. It's a very structured schedule these days. So something like this is a breath of fresh air. That's why I still like to play music and write music, you know, because it's something different, creating something. I'm not just getting up, going to work, you know, eating lunch, working some more, coming home, bathing the kids, interacting with the family, you know. I mean,
it's funny because I mean my appeal, or the appeal that this has on my life, is almost kind of, this is the same thing but almost in the opposite direction. Like I feel like I get like a little bit too much stimulation over the course of the working week. I mean, it might be grind, but I mean basically it's about talking and processing and understanding all kinds of shit. You know,
well, I don't have to really talk, process, and understand anything I do at my job. Because my job, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 20 years, and it's second nature to me. This takes a little bit of mental effort.
This takes mental effort, but
You know?
but it's in a way that I don't feel like I'm obligated to be the. I'll put it this way: none of y'all are relying on me, okay, to generate something that's not necessarily life changing. This is actually pretty well balanced, right? And equally distributed in terms of like the amount of effort, you know.
Right.
None of y'all's crying to me trying to get like some feel good juice out of the conversation, but it's a mutual thing, you know what I mean? There's equity going on, and I think that's kind of like the different thing from my perspective. I'm just just talking about like my 9 to 5.
I work at a government facility, a government-run facility. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty mentally taxing because I have to drudge my way through the awe-inspiring ignorance and back-assward fucking thinking of just shit that doesn't make sense, and I don't want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
I really don't. You would not believe me if I told you what went on there.
Well, there's got to be more to it than just that, right?
Well, that's why, you know what, I think I appreciate your bringing that up, Joe, and I think there is a lost art of conversation, and I think that's something that that's worth preserving. And, this is a damn good opportunity and a good, outlet.
Yeah.
A good medium, a good forum to kind of be able to exercise that thing. Because honestly, like, who else takes the time and effort to do something like that nowadays? You know, a relative few by comparison.
I mean, most people I know, like I said, they're so consumed with their own life and their own grind that the thought of any sort of change or the prospect of any sort of change or deviation from the norm isn't something they're really interested in.
Some people are okay with it.
I can't talk to a lot of people about the shit that's going on in my head. Definitely not people at work.
No. No, definitely not.
You know, there's a select few that I can talk to about, just talk. It's always got to be about what's going on with you. Let me tell you what's going on about me. Like, and really, I don't care because I know what you're up to on a personal basis. But let's talk about, hopes, dreams,
alien
ideas,
metal.
Opinions.
Yeah, and that was kind of our thing as well, and that's why we decided to do this, because I think we all kind of longed for that.
Cheers. I suggest we go ahead and call this a successful recording.
That's 89 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I suggest we hurry up and go ahead and stop it now before it becomes 90 minutes.
That'll be 30 seconds.
Let's not make this, let's not satisfy that round number of views.
Goodbye, folks. This podcast brought to you by